Guys, WandaVision was so big this week that it actually broke Disney Plus the second it debuted. That's huge, but thankfully, the magic in my house finally started getting it to work again, and I got my WandaVision fix this week on Disney Plus because I needed it. Even though it was a short amount of time, I was locked onto the screen. We got tons of reveals this week, which definitely, yeah, this was the calm before the storm, especially episode 7. You know, that's what we're talking about today in this full spoiler review, guys. So if you guys are new here, though, again, this is the thing that I've been very much enjoying every single week diving into WandaVision, is hearing all of your guys' thoughts. So make sure to comment down below. Let me know your theories, thoughts, predictions, what is truly coming up next. As well, guys, hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on content like this over here on a daily basis. I love staying up late with all of you guys, with all the fans, and in general, if you're not staying up late and you're catching this later, there's no wrong time to talk WandaVision or just in general Marvel goodness. So let's start with this episode because very much so, this felt like a slower episode in the beginning, but it felt like this was the breaking point for Wanda herself. Of course, the episode starts out and it's very much a parody on Modern Family's Arrested Development and even The Office, but specifically Modern Family for this type of take. I got some, Tobias vibes from Arrested Development with Vision's character and Darcy and their communications, and in general, the theme song was cute, enjoyable. I like that. I like breaking the fourth wall and having them being interviewed. That was something very unique. And I'm truly gonna say this is probably the last of all these sitcom isms. It feels like the next 2 episodes, from what is going on and what is rumored right now, is those 2 will be the longer extended episodes, whether they are 45 minutes to even an hour. Thankfully, we are going to need that because every single week it's getting more and more intense. And if you guys didn't stick around yet, there was actually an after credit scene this episode, and it was a major one. And it's definitely prepping us for next week because everything is finally coming about to what could truthfully be here. And that's just the kind of thing, because of course, the episode starts off, everything with Wanda herself. She just needs a break after what she did in the last episode, expanding the hexagon, and yeah, not doing a great thing in that nature, but her in general was the thing that I was interested in. And of course, she very much feels like she's at her breaking point. Just certain elements of her performance. And Elizabeth Olsen is just wonderful in here, which happy birthday to her. It was her birthday this past weekend. She was fantastic in this episode. Again, just very subtly showing the pieces of what is going on with her character in particular. And that is something that I'm very interested in. But of course, Agnes, who comes in at the very right moment every single time. You take a break, girly. I got the kids. I'll take care of them. Which, we've all been assuming that she is Agatha Harthwitch from the, of course, comics, the creepy-ass witch. And it turned out to be her, which we'll talk about that reveal in just a second. And, of course, the kids are now missing. I knew the second she took those kids that wasn't the right choice. And also the fact that Pietro didn't show up until the end credit scene was a major thing as well, which now opens up a whole bunch of questions that I do have about Pietro now and who that actually is. Is that actually Mephisto? Is that Ralph? We'll get to that in a second, but that kind of ends Wanda's little segment there. And then we go to Vision, who finally wakes up in the field, and he finds Darcy, wakes her up out of there, and they have this conversation. He's starting to learn about his past and what had happened to him with Thanos, with Ultron, all those elements in there. And I love Darcy in here because if you didn't see Two Broke Girls that the actress used to be in, it very much is a returning to her for sitcoms, and it was kind of nice seeing in there. There's some little fun vibes in there. If you've ever seen Arrested Development, I got major Tobias vibes, David Cross's vibes in there. If you haven't seen it yet, go check out Arrested Development. It's so funny, and actually the Russo brothers directed a lot of those episodes, so kind of a little bit fun throwback there. But in a sense, they're driving around, he's getting all of his answers, but he starts to feel that something is stopping them from getting home, and he thinks it's Wanda, but it's not. It's Agatha, or Agnes, whatever the hell she's going with. I'm going Agnes, Agatha, whatever. Catherine Hahn is just phenomenal in that role, but she's the one stopping Vision from coming. She knows everything going on. And we see that in that little theme song we see later down the road, where it's like Agnes was behind everything. And they go through each and every episode showing what she was behind, and that she actually killed Sparky the dog, which just automatically makes her not a good person in my eyes at freaking all. Like, screw her. But moving through this and moving past that element, of course, Vision, all them, they are stressing. Vision ends up just leaving. Darcy's like, I'll meet you there. But let's go to outside the hexagon real fast, because we see a little bit of Hayward, who I want to give a shout out to my friend Ren Geekness. I shared this video on my channel. If you guys haven't yet, go check out Ren Geekness. He put up a theory video talking about how he thinks Hayward is actually Ultron, and I've seen this theory go everywhere now, but I want to give a shout out to him because he was the first person that I ever saw actually talk about the theory. And if you haven't seen it yet or even heard about it, go check out his video, because he makes a lot of good points for Hayward maybe even being Ultron. And yes, that sounds weird, but there are iterations where Ultron has actually become and looked human for a bit. And why is he so interested in Vision's body? That is something that I still think is in play. And again, just go watch that. He explains it in so much better detail than I could possibly ever do. But we see Hayward. He's like, we gotta get in. We gotta strike now. I'm like, fuck you, man. I don't want you here. I don't want you here. Get out of here. But then we go to Monica and Jimmy, which we've been waiting. Who is the Arrow scientist? Is it Reed Richards? It seems like it was no one. It just seems like it was someone she knew in the field, which I think a lot of fans are probably going to be pretty disappointed in it. And I think a lot of our expectations for the last 2 episodes, maybe even 3 at this point, have been skyrocketed a little bit too high. We were expecting Reed Richards, maybe even a Hank Pym, maybe even someone else that we haven't seen yet, or we haven't seen in a while. Even someone that I even saw was Riri Williams, who plays Ironheart, and they've already casted the young girl. It's kind of weird. It's like, where's she showing up first? I was thinking maybe her. She's one of the smartest people in the MCU. Well, not MCU yet, but in the comics at least. That didn't happen. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I saw the girl and I was like, oh, I don't know who that is. Maybe you guys know who she is. Or maybe you guys kind of felt the same way as I am. Or maybe that wasn't the scientist, but I'm going to go with the way that it was. She gets in the car, drives through. That density barrier is too strong. But Monica says, screw it, I'm getting out, I'm going to run in. And she runs in, and really much, there's so many Easter eggs that I wanted to dissect when I rewatched this episode a second time, because it really feels like there was a lot going on in there, a lot of voices. We hear Captain Marvel, we hear stuff like that, and she pops out the other side, her eyes go a different color. I'm like, oh, she got her powers, which, you know, if you've read the comics, you knew she was going to get her powers, which I'm ready to say this. I think in a couple years, we're going to be looking at Monica and saying, damn, she is one of the best MCU characters yet. I'm already starting to get to that point, and I think it's really cool. Again, I can't express enough how great it is that we do get TV episodes now with these characters, because we are getting more time with these characters than we ever probably would have in a movie. And the same thing is going to go for Winter Soldier and Falcon. Same thing is going to go for Loki, Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, so many different characters that are going to come into the MCU, and we're going to fall in love with even more because of all the time that we've gotten to spend with them. And that's just something so special and so cool. But again, she runs in, she finds Wanda, she's starting to tell her, like, this is what's going on, and we need to fix it, we need to do this, we need to do everything possible. And yeah, that kind of moves about. They have this discussion. It seems like Wanda was starting to come to her, and then Agatha, Agnes, whatever that bitch, comes into play, and she goes, no, 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 we ain't doing that. And you're going to come with me? Come on. And she goes, stop it, or I'll get rid of you, whatever. She does her Sokovia accent for a second. They go about, they head to Agatha's house, and she's starting to look around. She's getting this weird, eerie vibe. She sees some gross bug, the bunny, and then her kid's food is and they're missing. Where are they? Cue to the biggest part of the whole entire episode. Again, this is an episode that I think many people will find a little bit lacking in the beginning elements, but I think it was quite funny. I think this is actually one of the more funny episodes that they had. But the reveal at the end just absolutely... Again, we knew it was coming. We knew there was something off about her, but just seeing it now is probably my favorite and biggest thing yet, and I loved it. I love seeing how she came into play and really much formulated, and she closed the door. We see that book, and if anyone knows what that book is, I'm trying to remember. I think it's from Doctor Strange, or at least from the comics nonetheless. I'm really curious to see that. Is she the one that's been controlling it all this time, or manipulating, or was she already in the town and Scarlet Witch came in and did that? Those are the questions I still have. These are the questions I'm still interested in. And who is Ralph? Who is her husband? Is that Mephisto? Is that the devil that we've been hearing about? I can't tell you. I don't know. But those are the questions I still have. But of course, she locks the door. She puts the purple thing into Wanda, which is kind of a throwback to Ultron, when the red thing, when she was controlling the other people. Holy shit. Like, next week's, it's gonna kill to wait till next week. We got 2 episodes left of WandaVision to talk about. And, like, I'm like, already, like, getting sad, but really interested to see where it's going, because it seems like, again, this was the calm before the storm, and now we are heading into the heavy storm for what could be coming out. Everything is coming about, and of course, yeah, let's jump to that end credit scene, because Scarlett's trapped down there. In the end credit scene, we see Monica head to Agatha's house. She's looking around. She opens up the basement, sees the vines with all the purple, and of course Pietro's like, hey, what's up, Snoopy? And yep, there's Pietro, or whoever that is, which again, Vision doesn't believe that's Pietro either. Which brings me to my question on this. And my one question that I really much have with this is, okay, if that is not Pietro, that's fine. But is Evan Peters playing Mephisto then? And also, if he's not, my biggest question comes out to be is, if that's not Pietro, then why does he look like the X-Men character? Like, why do that? Like, for me, I would have rather them just brought Aaron Taylor Johnson back in that matter then. I think it's cool to have that throwback, but like that's another thing. And I know we're getting the multiverse with Madness in the multiverse, and I know there's rumors heavily within Spider-Man 3. I just assume that I still have to believe that that is the Pietro from the X-Men universe just being manipulated or some case-by-case scenario. And that's the way that I'm having to view it, because I can't make it, like, this can't be another fake out. We already got it with Mysterio at that one point. But, like, if this is supposed to tie into the other two, so what's going on? I don't know. I have many questions with that nature. I just need them all answered. I can't wait to talk more WandaVision. And also the commercial this week, pretty depressing. But that very much, again, feels like the psyche of Wanda, just breaking down completely. And that's the commercials are always the creepiest things. But the Twilight Zone aspect of this, it went from Modern Family to Twilight Zone very fast. Black Mirror, all sorts of stuff like that. Next week's going to be wild. I cannot wait to see what happens. Everything, again, is coming together, guys, and I need to hear all of your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know down below. Do you guys believe Hayward is Ultron? Do you believe that Agatha is the one that's been controlling it all, or is there another player behind the scene? Is it Mephisto? Is Evan Peters playing him? Is he actually Quicksilver? What is up with all the commercials? What is going to happen next week? I need to hear all your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section, as well as hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on content like this over here on a daily basis. I love being excited about WandaVision. I love talking superhero movies, shows, all sorts of stuff like that. And we broke Disney Plus, guys. But let's not break in the next 2 weeks. Let's take a little, let some people hop in, then other people hop in. Thankfully, Disney fixed it pretty fast, faster than I expected. But thank you guys again for clicking on this. You guys are seriously all the best. I have a blast doing this every single week. Sorry about my eye. I had something in it, and there was like something flying in front of me. But I had a blast talking WandaVision with you guys this week, and I can't wait to talk with you guys next week about it. So, of course, until next time, stay classy.